split.
Get it? Okay, I'm done.
Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Kaylee, and on this channel, we get lit. So, good morning. It's never too early to get lit. Okay.
Yummy.
I am that person who has to have coffee in the morning or something caffeinated, or else my whole day is just like... So, this video is super late. Why? Okay, this was my October like wrap-up video, and I filmed it like 2 weeks ago, but then as I was editing it, I kept going back and forth because I was wearing my glasses, and it was just so distracting with like the little circles, and I'm still getting F it, I'm just gonna like do another one because it was so hella distracting. I could not. And if I could not, and it's me, then you guys would be like,
you know what? I can't do it.
With like the ring light on her glasses, yikes. So we're gonna get started. My October wrap-up video is happening end of November, who cares. Of October, I read a lot actually, and I was really like surprised. I read 9 books total, which is pretty good, considering I traveled quite a bit in October. I went to Atlanta, I also went to Missouri for a family reunion, and then in addition to that, I went to Orlando for the Halloween horror nights. So I managed to read a lot, and so I'm really proud of myself. I made a vow beginning of this year that I would read more, and then it kind of died off because I just had other things going on. At the end of the year, like, it's really helped me set up a good 2022 for my reading goals. I'm here in my office space, and bookshelf is actually like my TBR shelf. But I have like some of my book of the months, and all the books that I plan on reading here pretty shortly. So on to October. So again, I read 9 books. 5 of the books that I don't have here physically. I lent one out, and then the other 4 are at my house, and I didn't want to bring them here. I'd read the first 4 Harry Potters. Again, those were a reread for me. I read the first 4. The first one I read was in 3rd grade, and I think it had just come out, so let's not talk about how old I am, okay? But I don't even know how many times like since then I just sometimes will get in a mood, or like that's like my cozy go-to, like Harry Potter books, because like I know what's gonna happen, and I just like love all the characters, and even like finding new things to love or appreciate because of like my new experiences in life. So it's just one of those books that you can just like pick up, or I can just pick up at any time and like fall in love all over again. Really helped whenever we went to Universal Studios, because I was like, oh, you know, and I was just like in the Potterhead mood. Also have these like really big, like gargantuan illustrated copies as well. So I did actually like do the first 4 books, but I read in those illustrated books. So it was cool reading a different edition like that, because I got kind of like a different view. It wasn't the movie, it wasn't what I curated in my own mind as I'm reading, an interpretation, and I liked it.
Nerd boner. Nerd boner alert.
Anyways, the other book that I read that I don't have a physical copy, I will put up here, but it was Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia, and let me freaking tell you, that was a 5-star read. Like, I loved that book. I love her writing style. I feel like I bought Velvet is the Night, which is behind me, and I cannot wait to read all of her other works because she's amazing. It's a Gothic horror. It is about, 1950s Mexico, Mexico City, and our character, Naomi, is this she's an educated woman. She's very witty, she's funny, she's extremely smart, and she's very strong-willed. And her dad's like, hey, your cousin sent this letter, she's in trouble, which also in books, there's not enough cousin relationships that are anyways, I love that. Her cousin's in this marriage with this guy, and so the dad's like, hey, go figure out what's wrong with her. And so she goes, and I'm kind of like, why would you set her into this, she's already a woman in this time period, and then you're gonna have her go into this prominent people's home and kind of disrupt things, what the fuck. Anyways, whatever. So why that happened, I don't know, but it did. She gets there, and she's kind of realizing that this house is has kind of not a mind of its own, but there's something going on here, and she's like, what the heck. so I'm not going to give the spoilers away, but it's really, really good. I love reading historical fiction, and I just love that she writes about, you know, 1950s Mexico, because I feel like there's not enough representation of that that time period in novels. So really looking forward to reading the rest of her books. But yeah, so the writing style I really liked. I love the way Naomi was portrayed. The book is super atmospheric, which I also appreciated. And the only thing that I was kind of like, I'm not a body horror person. I'll just say it. I'm not. I don't like it. I think it's weird. It gives me the creeps. Ew, that's gross! I have like really intense trypophobia, which is like the fear of small little holes. I can't. The fungus aspect of this, I was kind of reading it like, ew. But I get why it makes sense in the book. So even if you have that, I still read it and really enjoyed the book. So don't let that kind of like dissuade you from reading it. So some interesting topics I wanted to highlight. I'm not going to make every book like 10 minutes long, but I just wanted to like highlight these things because they're important to me and I think it's really interesting. The existence of almost like eugenics in Mexico. So there's another movie that I want to recommend to you. So if you liked Gothic horror, this is not like a Gothic horror book, or I'm sorry, movie, but it's not really so much horror, but it's just a really like interesting movie if you like the concepts behind this book. But it's called Madras. Hi, this is Editing Kaylee from the future. I'm an idiot. And this movie was actually called Madras. I don't know where I got the other A from. I'm going to insert this clip in there, but just know every single time I say that, I don't know where the other A came from, but just know that's not how it's pronounced. I'm so sorry. Back to the October wrap up. It's on, I think, Shudder. And it's a Blumhouse like original movie. Takes place kind of in the same, I think in like the 60s or 70s. Lights, you know, the problems with eugenics in Mexico specifically within that time period. And so that kind of is brought up in the book a little bit, and which is something that people don't talk about enough, I think. But that did happen. And whenever you think of eugenics, sometimes people, I think, probably just think of like Nazi Germany, but that actually happened on our continent. So I think it's really important that we talk about it. And also, I love how Naomi was uncharacteristically like progressive for her time period. We love to see it. Ecological and biological horror. If you like that, which some of y'all nasties might like that, I don't know. There is a movie called Gaia, Gaia, and I watched it in the theaters in the summertime, and I was like, this movie reminded me of that. So anyways, it's about humanity's kind of like destruction of the environment, but there are some body horror aspects, so if you like that type of thing, go watch it. The next book that I read was The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. I don't know why I said it that way, but anyways, so he wrote Coraline, if you didn't already know, and Neil Gaiman is just like, this book, I want to reread it as a graphic novel because I know it exists, and that's how in my mind I was like, this would be a better graphic novel. A little dark, especially in the beginning, but it's about this boy named Nobody, and he goes by Bod, and he's being raised in a graveyard by ghosts, and it's a retelling of the Jungle Book, but it's really cute, it's really heartfelt, and it's really like a coming of age book because Bod is raised in this graveyard by ghosts. And so I want Tim Burton to adapt this into a movie ASAP, like yesterday. So if you're listening, Tim Burton, get lit with Kaylee. I'm telling you, adapt this into a movie now. But anyways, and it's just in this graveyard, and it kind of makes you think like, what does it really mean to be alive? You know, because he's kind of in both places, and he's growing up and he's learning. It's just a coming of age book about a boy growing up a lifeless world. So I believe I gave it 3 stars or 3.5 stars. But it was cute. It's just like more middle grade than my tastes are. So the next book I read, speaking of middle grade, was Go the Distance. This is a twisted tale. I wanted to read this book because I want to start reading more about mythology. This is not a mythology book, okay? I'm just telling you. Like, it is, but it's not. I was just like, I want something kind of cute and not too heavy. And I really love the movie Hercules. Oh.
Oh, Hercules, Hercules, Hercules.
And I was like, oh, like this is kind of like fan fiction, like, well, what if this happened, you know? And I always loved Megara's character in Hercules.
I'll be all right. I'm a big tough girl. I tie my own sandals and everything.
They didn't give her enough like background, okay? You know, she was done wrong by this dude. She sold her fucking soul for you, and then you're gonna go and like run off with some bimbo? Like, how dare you? So it kind of explores that and says, well, you know, this is the actual story behind that, and what if she had to go and save that girl so that she could be a god with Hercules? The writing style was not for me, I'm not gonna lie. I like discount it that much because it was written for the audience that it was supposed to be written for, okay? Which was probably not me, but it was a cute story and I enjoyed learning more about Meg and like the background. This is a Disney book, so it's not like complete fan fiction, but it was a cute book. I think I gave it 3 stars. Again, it was written for the audience that it was supposed to be written for, which was not for me, but I still enjoyed reading it and learning more about Meg's character. The next book that I read was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. Y'all, I gave this a 4 stars. Now, I am gonna read all Grady Hendrix's other books. This book was so funny. It was hilarious. I found myself like laughing out loud. The little banter these girls have is just so funny. Love watching horror movies. I like possession movies, and so this wasn't really too much about the possession. More, I feel like it more centered around the friendship, and then there was like a possession happening, but it was still like creepy at moments. It was still like, what the hell's going on? And to be honest, like, I'm on the Grady train. I'm so lame. But literally, like, if all this writing is fun like this, like, I love that. I love the creepy horror aspects, but told in like a very lighthearted, funny way. And also all of his covers are like everything. Like, what the, like, look at this cover.
Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
If you don't even read this book, just buy the cover. Just buy it for the cover, okay? Like, look at it. It's just so cute. But anyway, last but not least, we have A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. Now, I was so excited about this book, and at first I gave it 5 stars as soon as I got done, because I was like, no, I loved it, oh my god, All Souls trilogy. Okay, I need to calm down. Upon further thought, I might knock it down to 4 stars. I know, what the, what's wrong with me? This book is about Diana Bishop. She is a witch. She doesn't want to be a witch, but she's like, it's my blood. And she is a scholar. Her parents died a while, when she was little, and they're both witches. And she was like, look, because of witchcraft, it killed them, ain't gonna kill me, okay? So she pours her life into books, into finding out things about the past, about alchemy, about chemistry, something totally boring and not magic related. Well, ironically, that's what sucks her into this whole world of witches and demons and vampires and creatures, is books, because she finds this bewitched manuscript from like the 1700s or something, or the 1500s, and yeah, so that's what happened. So this book starts out with her in the library, and she finds this bewitched book, and she's like, oh god. So she puts it back, and she's like, I don't want anything to do with that. Then all these creatures in the book, these demons and vampires, are all like, and witches are all like, hey, we've been looking for that, and you found it. You found the book? What's going on here? So she starts being followed, and then of course this guy swoops in, Matthew Claremont, who is a vampire, and he's like a cross between like an Edward Cullen and like a Christian Grey. Okay, that's him. If those 2 characters were mashed together, that would literally be Matthew Claremont, okay? He's like trying to protect her, and he's like, but he's also like trying to like not like eat her, because because he's like, I just want your blood. And I don't know. So it's a good book. I liked it. So again, I like historical fiction. This is more teetering on like historical fantasy fiction, but I still liked it because Deborah Harkness, I believe, is also a historian. Like, people she fangirls about are like other historians from the past, or like Galileo and Isaac Newton and shit like that. So when she's meeting Matthew, who's been alive for like, you know, 600 years, she's just like, oh my God, like you've met all these people, like you were around all this when this was going on. And so many things about this book, like I literally had like 2 whole pages of like notes on it. The reason why I was kind of like, is because I was so excited to watch the adaptation of the show. And then I watched the first 2 episodes and I was just like I was so just like disappointed. I don't know why. I think Diana is exactly how I imagined her. Matthew though, when he gets hungry and stuff, he's like not cute, and I was just like, ugh. Anyway, he's just, I don't know, like reading about it, I was like, I like it, and the show, it's a little cheesy for me. So, but it was, I just need to power through it, I think, because I do like the series, and I'm reading right now Shadow of Light, and I just need to give it a chance. I just need to give it a chance, go through it. But vampires in this book are very like animalistic almost, which I kind of liked that. Things about him, about Matthew, that he does with Diana, like the way he treats her, the way he tries to like control her in a way, and it's like problematic, but also because he's like a creature, it kind of like makes sense that he acts that way. But the fact that Diana like was so headstrong and so just like, you know, like strong and progressive and things like that, and then and so intelligent, and the fact that she's like, okay, yeah, your kids are my kids, yeah, like whatever you say, Matthew, I'll follow you to the end of time, like her be a little bit like pushed, like even pushed away a little bit, like because she was so like not feeling it, so like for the first like half of the book, and then it was just like all of a sudden he was just like, okay, you're mine, and then she was like, okay, yeah, whatever you want, but yeah, okay, you know. And it just that kind of bothered me, I guess, but I know it makes sense for the characters in the book because of what's going on. So of their relationship sounded like toxic to me, but if they're happy, then I can't really say it's toxic because that's my view on it. That's not their view, and maybe I should stay in my own lane. I don't know, whatever. I'm still gonna read the second book. I just kind of told myself though that although I am going to read probably all 3 of the books, I'm not gonna binge them. And I basically just like read a chapter a day of Shadow of Light. Like that's what I read, like just a chapter a day. So it'll probably take me like up until like next month. But I'm not going to like binge this book because I wasn't like in love with it. Yeah, so next video I'm going to upload is going to be my end of year TBR video. So if you've read any of these books, if there's any book that I read that you have a thought about or something, put in the comments. Try not to spoil it for other people, but please guys, like and subscribe. I am so excited for the rest of this year. I have a couple of really cool things planned. I'm going to attempt Vlogmas. This is my first year doing this, so you know, finding time to like edit and do all these things is a little chaotic for me because I do have a 9-to-5, but I am trying my hardest so that way we can get some good content out. But thank you so much for your patience, and yeah, like and subscribe to my channel. See y'all next time. Bye.